So this weekend, UFC 295, Prohaska taking on Pereira, and yeah, this is going to be a great card. If you guys followed our picks last week, I think out of the entire card, we had two losses. I know we lost on Bonfim, and I think someone else out of the card. We had two losses, I think, on that card. And yeah, if you guys need a place to BetUS, promo code Iceman. You already know, best bet gambling website in the business. And yeah, so if you guys have been following this card for a while, it was supposed to be John Jones, Stipe Miocic. Unfortunately for everyone, that is not taking place, right? John Jones tore his pec and pulled out. That fight is now being rescheduled. And all of a sudden, UFC 295 went from being a huge pay-per-view where they were charging just crazy number price for seats, like super expensive, and now all of a sudden they're probably not going to sell as many pay-per-views, right? Because John Jones brings in the casual viewers, right? And that's what brings in the money. When you like the hardcores, like people watching this channel, guys like me, we're like, fuck, Yuri Prohaska, Alex Pereira, boom, sign me up. Sergey Pavlovich, Aspinall, we love it, right? But for the casuals, they're like, who are these people? Like, we want John Jones, we want Conor McGregor. That's what sells. But these guys, super high level guys, now they're just not going to get the pay per view sales because Alex Pereira and Prohaska is a banger of a fight. That's a great fight, but it just doesn't sell, right? Like nobody really knows who Yuri Prohaska is, right? Like everybody knows John Jones. My mom knows who John Jones is. Everybody knows John Jones. He's just, you know, one of the goats. So main event, Yuri Prohaska. This was the co-main. Now they bumped it up to the main event. Title fight is on the line. So that light heavyweight title is going to be up for grabs. And now last time I checked my gambling website, this fight is dead even on odds pretty much. Maybe Alex Pereira might be a slight favorite on some betting websites, maybe like a minus 120, minus 130. But I can tell you, going into the card, it's going to be pretty dead even. And when I ask a lot of people who know about MMA, who you got? Everyone seems to be siding with Alex Pereira, except for myself. So let's get into it. So Alex Pereira, middleweight champ, former middleweight champ, right? He just got knocked out by Izzy. Then he comes up, fights Jan Blachowicz, and it was a pretty boring fight. I'm not gonna lie. It was not what I expected that fight to be. Some people thought he lost the split. Some people thought he won the split decision. I thought he won. It's super close, right? But it was not too impressive. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is how old now? 40 years old. Yeah, so you just got knocked out 2 fights ago. He got knocked out 2 fights ago. Then he moves up to light heavyweight, fights Jan Blachowicz, 40-year-old Jan Blachowicz, barely wins, and now he's going in arguably his toughest fight, right? In my opinion, this might be his toughest fight. And, 2 fights ago, you got knocked out by a middleweight, Izzy Adesanya, and Izzy Adesanya just got his ass whooped by Sean Strickland. So, and everyone's going with Alex Pereira. Everyone's betting, and I'm betting against everybody, the public. I'm thinking Yuri Prohaska because let me tell you one thing. This guy is super hard to get difficult for, or get ready for because he's a very awkward fighter, dude. He's got a very unique style, does crazy spinning shit, all that type of stuff. He's super awkward. So it's not like you can bring people in to sort of get ready for Yuri. He's super awkward in that way. Alex Pereira, he's a super technical striker. He's not a guy who makes a lot of mistakes in the striking department. Yuri, on the other hand, he's a wild boy. And man, the only reason I'm taking Yuri is because the power of Yuri Prohaska. I think if you got knocked out by Izzy Adesanya, who's not really known for being the heaviest hitter, and now you're moving up to light heavyweight, fighting the lineal light heavyweight champ. This guy never lost, right? He vacated his belt because of the shoulder injury. Very curious to see how he recovers from that. You know, apparently he's fine, but I guess we'll see come Saturday. But I'm going to go with Yuri, man, because I think Yuri's going to hit him, right? He's going to hit Alex, and Alex is going to hit Yuri. And Yuri's got a really good chin. My only thing is he's been off for a while, right? He's not been active, but maybe that's exactly what he needed. He needed a little break. But the activity is something I'm a little worried about. And he does like to get hit. He's a guy who's, he'll stay in the fire, and he does tend to get hit. Alex Pereira, you don't want to get hit by him. He hits super hard, right? One of the heaviest hitters in that division. But Yuri's got a really good chin, man. And in those firefights, when he is hurt, that's sometimes when he's super dangerous, man. And I think he might be able to get it done. And if this fight does happen to go to the ground, I got to go with Yuri Prochazka. I mean, Yuri doesn't really shoot for takedowns. He's a guy who likes to stand bang. But hey, he submitted Glover Teixeira. I know it was a wild exchange and Glover was gassed, but Yuri does have some submission skills, and I think he's slightly better than Alex Pereira on the ground. If you can see, Yuri Prochazka hasn't lost in a long time. He's been on a crazy win streak. When was the last time he lost? So he lost to Muhammad Lawal King Mo back in 2015. So almost 8 9 years ago was his last loss. Yeah, and ever since then he's been on a roll, man. Like tons of finishes too, just vicious. Alex Pereira only 10 pro fights, but obviously, on paper, Alex Pereira should literally crush Yuri Prochazka. But, on paper, Izzy Adesanya should crush Sean Strickland, right? So it's I'm going with Yuri Prochazka on this one. A check. I think he can get it done. Maybe he's smart and changes the game plan and starts shooting for takedowns. Who knows? Who knows? Now, co-main event is the heavyweight title fight. Usually the heavyweight title fight is usually going to be the main event. This time they're switching it up. Heavyweight is the co-main event. Just like the main event, two guys are fighting for that title, but I think this is the interim title. I don't know. A lot of people are getting mad. They're like, "Oh, is this sort of diluting the division if you got these two guys fighting for a title?" I don't know if I agree with that. I think Sergey Pavlovich, he's for real, man. Now Tom Aspinall hasn't really worked his way up, but he's sort of getting lucky by getting this title shot. But hey, it is what it is. Because he hasn't. I know that Curtis Blades fight. That was the one where we really seen. Hey, is Tom Aspinall for real? And then he injures, blows out his knee in 10 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever it was. So you didn't really get to see him. Now his fight back, he literally came and destroyed Marcin Tybura. But Sergey Pavlovich is a different animal. Now, Sergey Pavlovich came into the UFC, and his first fight, unfortunately, was against the Reem, Alistair Overeem. And just the experience, just Alistair took him down, ground and pounded him out, finished him. But since then, he's been on a roll, just destroying people. Now, Sergey Pavlovich has holes in his game, and those holes are in the grappling. And there's something Tom Aspinall is really good at, and that is jiu-jitsu. Even his wrestling, his takedowns are very good. I think Tom Aspinall can take Sergey down and win this fight. Now, if he goes out there and tries to bang with Sergey Pavlovich, that might not go in his favor. But I'm leaning towards Tom Aspinall, the speed of Tom Aspinall. He is super fast. He might be the fastest guy at heavyweight, in my opinion. He is super fast. And that might cause Sergey some problems. And the fact that he's got a wicked ground game on top of that, I think that's going to give Sergey some trouble. Now, hopefully he doesn't go in there and blow out his other knee, but, that was a freak accident. I think I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall. A lot of people are taking Sergey. I'm going against that. I'm going with Tom Aspinall. I think he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground, and I think ground and pound or submission. I think you got to go with Tom Aspinall. Definitely more well-rounded. Now, Sergey is hard to get down. Curtis Blades attempted one or two takedowns, but he was hurt at the time, and it was just some weak takedowns. So you don't really get to see how good is Sergey Pavlovich takedown defense gotten. But he's working at an American top team. Those guys are getting him prepared. So we'll see. But I'm going with Tom Aspinall, and same with the main event. Dead even odds, man. Even on my website, both guys are minus 110. And that's incredible. I like that. You see in boxing, it's the opposite. You see guys make like minus 3,000. It's like, that's not a fight. I want to see even odds. That's going to be competitive. So next up, Mackenzie Dern taking on Jessica Andrade. I think this is going to be easy win for Mackenzie Dern. Her striking's got a lot better, and if this fight hits the ground, it's going to be night for Jessica Andrade. Now, this fight is interesting. Matt the Steamroller Favola fighting in his backyard against Benoit Saint Denis. Matt Favola, man, this guy has been looking really impressive. Came into the UFC, had that fight with Polo Reyes where he just got destroyed, and then he came off, had some good fights with Turner and Pena, and then he had that fight with Sarukian. Armin Sarukian is a freak of nature. No shame losing to Armin Sarukian. Now, his probably worst loss was to Terrence McKinney, where he got knocked out in 6 or 7 seconds. But since that loss to Terrence McKinney, he's racked up 3 in a row, including a very impressive win over Drew Dober. Drew Dober, the Doberman, he's for real. And he just completely destroyed Drew Dober, which was super impressive. And now he's taking on Benoit Saint Denis, the God of War, former special ops guy. And he came into the UFC short notice fight. He took a fight on short notice against Lizzie Zaleski dos Santos, who just fought last weekend in a draw with Bonfim, or not Bonfim, Hanat Fakhretdinov. It went to a draw. And so that was his first fight. He fought Dos Santos in Brazil, I think it was. In his first fight, it was a short notice fight, took a beating, but stayed in there. And ever since then, he's been, just racking off wins over pretty good guys. Nicholas Stoltz, beat Ishmael Bonfim, choked him out in the first round, beat Thiago Moises. Man, he's looking really impressive, and I got to go with Benoit Saint Denis. I know it's Favola's hometown, and he's going to be hungry for a win, but I think Benoit Saint Denis is for real. He's that guy. He's super impressive, and I think I got to go with Benoit Saint Denis, man. I'm just gonna go through the main card pretty much. I'm not gonna touch on the prelims because this main card's where the money's at. So this fight, Diego Lopez taking on Pat Sabatini, and you guys have known how high I've been on Pat Sabatini since he's came into the UFC. This is the first time I will be betting against Pat Sabatini because that's how impressed I've been with Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez's first fight in the UFC, he fought Movsar Evloev, undefeated Russian dude, freak of nature, one of the best fighters in featherweight. If you guys don't know, you soon will. He's insane. And he literally had such an impressive performance. I was super impressed. I thought he was going to get crushed, right? And he was just attacking off his back. Submission. He is super active in his jiu-jitsu, which is, not many people are like that. And that really impressed me. And then his last fight, he fought Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker is a tough dude, and he flying triangled him. It was insane, that setup for that flying triangle. This boy is super confident everywhere. He's a wild man. And I think I got to go with Diego Lopez against Pat Sabatini. And Pat Sabatini is a guy who has got a really good jiu-jitsu game himself. But man, I'm after seeing Diego Lopez and how he did against Movsar Evloev, almost finishing it, not, it was close. Like most people would have tapped to that knee bar, probably, hurts. Like there's some damage done to that knee for sure. Diego Lopez, his jiu-jitsu is for real, and his striking is good too, man. I'm going with Diego Lopez on this one. I've been just super impressed with this guy. I gotta go with Diego Lopez, and I'm actually betting on him. That my single bet is with Diego Lopez, and I also got a parlay with Benoit Saint Denis and Yuri Prohaska and Tom Aspinall. That's a pretty good card, man. And that one prelim fight that was caught my eyes. This one, Jared Gordon, Mark Madsen. So Mark Madsen, if you guys don't know him, Olympian, gold medal in the Olympics, and he's an underdog going into the Jared Gordon fight. I know he's coming off, a loss to Grant Dawson, and he was on a roll before that, undefeated. But Jared Gordon might have his hands tied, hands full with this one because Marco Madsen can wrestle. He can wrestle. Unfortunately, his gas tank is not so good. For an Olympic level wrestler, his gas tank doesn't seem to be there. But hey, if you can rack up those first two wins, first two rounds, take him down, sort of just lie on top of him, he could probably win this decision. The fact that he's plus 150 underdog, that's surprising because Jared Gordon, he's coming off a no contest clash of heads to Bobby Green, so cancel that out. Before that, lost to Paddy Pimblett in a fight which many people thought he actually won the fight against Paddy Pimblett. So, that's going to be tough. I would say that fight's going to decision. But man, this main event and the co-main, that's going to be exciting. We're going to have some new champions. And yeah, I just hope Alex Pereira doesn't win, and then they do the Izzy Alex Pereira fourth or fifth fight at 205. That'll drive me nuts. But hey, man, it is what it is. BetUS promo code Iceman. You already know. And yeah, if you guys are feeling my picks, take it. I only want you guys to bet on my picks if you're feeling them yourself, right? Let's say I'm feeling Yuri and you're feeling Pereira. Be like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from that one. But if our picks in line, that's where the magic happens. So let's try to make some money this weekend. Out.